Men are romantics. They don't like admitting it, but they are. They fall in love with potential. They attach through loyalty. They bond through sacrifice. Women don't bond that way. Women bond through benefit. That's not an insult. It's a women's structure. A man falls in love with how he feels around her. A woman attaches to how life improves around him. That's the first psychological difference most men refuse to accept. Men enter relationships emotionally. Women enter relationships positionally. Position means security. Position means status. Position means upward movement. Position means protection from downside. If a relationship increases her leverage, she attaches, not because she's overwhelmed with emotion, because her position improves. If your trajectory stalls, her attention reallocates. This is where men get confused. They think love is the primary driver, not for women. Sorry, fellas. Stability of position is the primary driver for women. Love is allowed once position is secured. There was a time when sexual exclusivity created emotional imprinting for women. When access was limited, intensity bonded women to a man she had feeling for. However, in a hypersexual, hyper-accessible environment, novelty replaces imprinting. Familiarity loses its psychological weight. Modern culture amplified this. Women are economically independent, socially validated constantly, encouraged to never settle, encouraged to maximize options. In that environment, relationships become negotiations, not emotional fantasies. Meetings with women have become negotiations. You bring resources, you bring status, you bring lifestyle, you bring emotional stability. You see, before the internet and social media, leverage for women was local. If a woman ranked lower in attractiveness in her immediate environment, her options were limited. Limited options create urgency. Urgency increases willingness to commit. Now remove geography, social media, makeup filters, beauty apps, camera angles, lighting. Any woman can manufacture high visual value online. She doesn't have to be objectively high tier. She just has to present well digitally. Digital attention inflates perceived market position. Perceived position drives behavior more than objective reality. Even if her real-world dating value hasn't changed, her inbox tells her she has options. Options reduce urgency. Reduced urgency delays attachment. So this isn't about beauty anymore. It's about perceived replaceability. If she believes she can replace you upward, she negotiates from leverage, and leverage slows commitment. But here's the rub, fellas, and I have to agree with Coach Greg Adams on this point. Only one side tends to romanticize the exchange. Men say love. Women assess leverage. And leverage means, for a woman, can I do better later? Does committing reduce my options? Is this my best outcome right now? If the answer is uncertain, she waits. Waiting protects leverage. Commitment distributes leverage. When she commits, her exit cost rises. Modern women are trained to keep exit cost low. That's why undefined relationships dominate. That's why situationships exist. That's why clarity often comes only when she has a better option lined up. It's not emotional instability, it's risk management. Coach Greg Adams says men are in love, women are in business. That sounds harsh, but if you strip emotion out of it, it becomes clearer. Men optimize for attachment, women optimize for outcome. If the outcome improves, attachment follows. If the outcome stalls, attachment fades. That's why a man can love a woman through struggle. A woman will rarely stay through prolonged decline. Decline lowers leverage, and leverage is a survival instinct for women. Now here's the part men need to accept without whining. This isn't evil, it's adaptive behavior in an environment flooded with options. Options change psychology. Abundance changes thresholds. When you can replace attention instantly, you evaluate commitment differently. Love becomes secondary to positioning, and positioning always wins. There's one more shift most men don't want to look at. If leverage is the goal, then monetizing sexuality makes sense in this environment. If you strip the emotion out, most women today can convert attention directly into income, subscriptions, private content, direct payments, sponsorships, access platforms. Sexual attention is no longer just validation, it's liquid. In previous generations, sexuality had to be exchanged through relationship. Now it can be monetized independently. That changes the entire incentive structure. If intimacy can generate income without long-term commitment, then commitment loses economic value. Why trade exclusivity for stability when visibility itself generates revenue? You don't even need to be top-tier attractive. Filters, angles, lighting, enhancement apps, digital presentation inflates perceived desirability, and perceived desirability is enough to generate paying attention. When attention equals money, sexuality becomes a business asset. From a leverage standpoint, that's efficient. It removes dependency on one man. It spreads risk across many. It keeps optionality open. And if leverage can be sold directly, attachment becomes secondary. That is the environment we live in today, fellas. That's the system, nothing personal.